a new month and I'm here with 5 new book recommendations. So let's get started with today's video. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Flor and I post new videos every single week talking about working for yourself, talking about content creation, talking about planning and productivity, and talking about books. In today's video, and as the title suggests, I am going to be sharing 5 new book recommendations, some of the latest books that I've read and that I think you should be reading as well. If you like everything about books and book recommendations, I suggest you go ahead and watch my previous 8 videos with book recommendations. They will be linked up here right now and also down below in the description box. You have 5 book recommendations in each of these videos, so you have a total of 40 book recommendations in those 8 previous videos. So if you want more book recommendations, watch this video and then go ahead and watch those 8 previous ones. Now, with that being said, let's get started with today's first book recommendation. The first video that I wanted to recommend is called Anxious People by Frederick Backman. This novel is about a person, a thief, that plans to rob a bank and a robbery gone wrong. So this person goes into the bank, something happens, then they end up escaping from the bank and going into an apartment right across the street where an apartment viewing is being held. So there's a lot of other people inside the apartment. There's a couple that has kind of like grown apart throughout the years, also a new couple, 2 women that appear to be on its own, a real estate agent, and in a way this bank robber takes them all hostages. The police arrives and there's like a whole situation from a very little thing that actually started everything. So what I really like about this book is, on one side, the fact that it's being told from different points of view and each of the hostages is giving their version of the story, so you really don't know what version is actually the truth and who might be lying or maybe not sharing everything. And at the same time, the action changes between different spaces in the timeline, so you learn a bit about the characters' past, their present, and in a way their future. I would say that this book is probably not my favorite book ever or my favorite book of 2021, but it's a really good one. It made me laugh, it made me cry, it made me emotional, and I think that when a book makes you feel all these emotions, it's a good one. I give it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads and I suggest you go ahead and read it. The second book that I wanted to recommend is called One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. So you probably know that I read the first book that Casey McQuiston ever published, which is called Red, White, and Royal Blue. I reviewed it in one of my previous videos that will be linked up here right now and also down below in the description box. I really like that book. It's all about a love story between 2 guys, and I don't know how the story is told and the ending, everything is really perfect for me. It's probably one of my favorite books of 2020, but this one is a flop for me. This time, Casey McQuiston, who is an active member of the LGBTQ+ community, dives deep into the relationship of 2 women. One of them is a young woman that just moved to New York to start a new life, a new career, and moves into a new apartment with new people. And one day she meets a girl in the subway that just blows her mind away. And what she realizes is that she keeps on meeting this girl on the subway every day. It doesn't matter which car she takes, at what time she takes the train, she is always there. So she finally discovers that this other girl is actually stuck in the subway. She's from the 70s and something happened and she cannot leave the subway train. So the story is all about what happened, what went down, why this girl is trapped in the subway, but also a love story, how they connect, how they get to know each other only by riding the subway, and if at some point there might be a way of getting Subway Girl out of the subway. So when I first heard about this new book by Casey McQuiston, I was really happy to read it, and I think I even placed a hold on the book before it even came out. So very excited person here, but I don't know, I didn't quite like the story. I did connect with some of the characters, but I don't know, I feel like the plot is very predictable in a way. You really know what's going to happen. So I don't know, that didn't do it for me. And I really didn't connect with the love story as well and with everything going on with the other characters. So it was a good book, 3 out of 5 stars for me. But if you're planning on reading something by Casey McQuiston, I suggest you first read Red, White, and Royal Blue, because I think that one is really, really better. Now I'm moving on to book number 3. We are going to be talking about Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So this one is another book that's really new, just came out, and you probably know that Taylor Jenkins Reid is, I think, my favorite author right now. I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo last year. It was my favorite book of 2020 without a doubt. And I also read Daisy Jones and the Six this year in 2021, and I really like that one as well. So the reviews for those books will be linked up here right now if you want to go ahead and watch those videos, and also down below in the description box. So as you can imagine, I was really excited about this new book by this author, and it did not disappoint, but it's certainly not one of my favorite ones. I think both The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six are better books in my opinion, and this one would be like a third place. So Malibu Rising is all about the 4 Riva siblings. They are 2 girls and 2 boys, pretty famous and popular in their own ways, and they're going to throw like an epic summer party that they throw every year. And the story is being told from different points of view and different points in time. So you learn everything about the relationship of their parents, how they met, what happened after that, and you also learn all about the personalities of these 4 siblings, what are their ambitions, their fears, what they feel towards each other, and all that is leading up to like the final point in the story and in the book and the plot, which is the night of the summer party, where everything convenes, their story, their past, their fears, the people they know, the people they don't know, everything collides in this party, and in a way is going to change all of their lives from that point on. So I went into reading this one just because it was Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm not gonna lie about that, and it did not disappoint. I think she has a way of writing, a way of explaining things, a way of describing characters that it's so good, so perfect, and I love that about this book. I also love the fact that this book keeps on referring things from The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six. So if you have read those 2 books, it's funny to see how some of the characters are being mentioned in this book and how they relate and how these 3 books sort of connect. And I like that and love that the author is doing that and playing with her own characters. But the story itself, I think it doesn't have like this huge reveal or this like huge plot like her other 2 books that I mentioned have. So for me, that's why it was like not that great of a book, but I know some other people have loved it. So I'd say go ahead, read this one, and if you haven't read any other Taylor Jenkins Reid books before, read those as well. The 4th book that I wanted to recommend is called The Cousins by Karen McManus, and I want to start by saying that I really like this book. I think it's the 4th book that I read by Karen McManus. I read One of Us is Lying, One of Us is Next, Two Can Keep a Secret, and I really like those 3 books. They're all YA and mystery thrillers, the same as this one, but I think this one, The Cousins, is my favorite of the 4. And why is that? So first of all, let's start with the plot. The story is about a family, the Story family, that's their last name, and there are 4 siblings, 3 boys and a girl. Their father passed away when they were teenagers, and shortly after that their mother sends them a letter and they're removed from their inheritance and all contact is cut. So a couple of years later, the cousins, which are the children of the Story siblings, are invited by their grandmother to go back to the island that they own. They're, well, a wealthy family as you can tell, and to work at the resort that their grandmother owns. So it's like a weird situation because the siblings, meaning their parents, are not really sure what their mother is doing by inviting their grandchildren to the island when she hasn't spoken to them for like 20 years. And then at the same time, the cousins, meaning the grandchildren, are also feeling like pretty weird because they know that their parents don't talk to each other. They don't really know their aunts and uncles. They don't know what's going on with their grandmother. So there's a mystery and there's a good story behind all of this that I really enjoyed. But I think that what I enjoyed the most about this book is like seeing Karen McManus, the author, grow. And I know this might sound weird, but when I read One of Us is Lying, which is I think her first book, I thought it was good, but it was kind of obvious or predictable or maybe simple. Same with the second one. Then the other one, Two Can Keep a Secret, I liked that one, was a bit different, but this one I think it's great. It is YA, which is young adult, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I think YA thrillers or mystery are really, really good and maybe like my cup of tea, because if it's like a different type of mystery or thriller, which a lot of people like being killed and stuff, I don't enjoy that. But this one is like the right amount of mystery, right amount of people being killed, right amount of like suspense and everything. I enjoy this one a lot. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars because it promised and it delivered. So go ahead and read this book, and if you haven't watched my other reviews of Karen McManus's other books, go ahead and watch them. They will be linked up here right now and also down below in the description box. And the fifth and last book that I wanted to recommend in today's video is called The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. So I first heard about this book from the Reese Witherspoon's book club, that if you don't follow them already, I suggest you go ahead, give them a follow either on Instagram or TikTok or on the website. And this story is about a woman who's apparently having like a normal day in her life up until a girl shows up to her door with a note from her husband just saying protect her. So at the beginning she doesn't really know what's going on until she realizes not only that her husband is not coming back and apparently is on the run for some reason, but also that what her husband means is that she needs to protect her husband's daughter, with whom she doesn't have the best relationship. So this book is all about the mystery of why did this person run away, what is going to happen between this woman and her husband's daughter, and how their relationship might evolve, and what we consider family, and what we might be willing to do and sacrifice for our families. So at the beginning I really like this book. I think the whole idea, the plot is really good, and it keeps on evolving and being better and better up until like the last few chapters, where I think it goes like sideways and it really stops making much sense, and I really didn't like that part, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, not only because of that, but also because when the book ends it left me feeling sad, but not sad in a good way. Maybe you read some other books and they make you emotional, they make you think about your life and the decisions you've made or the relationships you have with your family or your friends, but this one left me feeling miserable, like sad, miserable in the worst possible way. And because of that I really didn't enjoy it, and I don't know, it was like not my cup of tea. Maybe you might like it, so I am mentioning it in today's video because I know a lot of people love this one, but it was definitely not my favorite. So that is it for today's video and for the 5 new book recommendations that I wanted to share with you all. Don't forget that I have 8 previous videos with 5 book recommendations in each of them, so 40 book recommendations in total that will be linked down below in the description box if you want to go ahead and watch them. And if you like everything about book and book recommendations, of course, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, where you can find me as Pereira, as you can see over here. Over there I share on my stories and on my feed all about the new books I'm reading, and I share the reviews and what I think about them. So go ahead and give me a follow. And if you like books, of course, don't forget to follow me on Goodreads as well. You can find me as Pereira over there as well. And if you like this video, and as usual, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, to leave a comment letting me know if you have read any of these books, what you thought of them, or what you're reading at the moment and that you would recommend that I read as well. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. That is it. I will see you on the next one. Bye!